courage,
fortitudo,
wisdom,
prudentia,
temperance,
temperantia,
justice.
justitia.
Exploring ancient philosophy for the path to the good life. This is the Sunday Stoic. Thanks for tuning in for episode 2 of the Sunday Stoic, a podcast where we apply ancient wisdom to our modern lives. Really, human nature hasn't changed since Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius were writing down their thoughts and ideas. And Stoicism is sort of like the Western form of Buddhism. It is a great tool for centering ourselves and not overreacting to events in our daily lives and finding peace and calm in everyday activities. In today's episode, we'll be focusing on the Stoic virtue of wisdom. We'll be hearing from Marcus Aurelius, chapter 10, reading 16. If you want to follow along, there are links on the website, which is sundaystoic.wordpress.com. So Marcus Aurelius, chapter 10, reading number 16, so paragraph 16. We'll be reading Epictetus, the Discourses, number 65, and the Moral Letters of Seneca. We'll be reading his letter, part of his letter called On Gathering Ideas. So let's go ahead and jump into it. You'll be hearing me reading, of course, as well as my wife. If anyone wants to volunteer to read in the future, you can feel free to email me at sundaystoic@gmail.com. Once again, check out our website, sundaystoic.wordpress.com. And today's readings, as in all of our readings, are taken from public domain sources, mostly from Gutenberg, and you can find those links on the website. I also want to point out that you'll hear some background noise in this recording. As the Stoics say, we should live according to nature, and when I wanted to record the podcast, there was a thunderstorm going on outside, so I decided to just take my phone and record while sitting on the porch. So maybe not the best audio quality, but I did like the ambiance of the storm in the background. Reading 1, Marcus Aurelius.
No longer talk at all about the kind of man that a good man ought to be, but be one.
Reading 2, Epictetus.
When a youth was giving himself airs in the theatre and saying, "I am wise, for I have conversed with many wise men," Epictetus replied, "I too have conversed with many rich men, yet I am not rich."
Reading 3, Seneca.
The journeys to which you refer, the journeys that shake the laziness out of my system, I hold to be profitable, both for my health and you see why they benefit my health. Since my passion for literature makes me lazy and careless about my body, I can take exercise by deputy. As for my studies, I show you why my journeys help them, for I have not stopped my reading in the slightest degree. And reading, I hold, is indispensable, primarily to keep me from being satisfied with myself alone. And besides, after I have learned what others have found out by their studies, to enable me to pass judgment on their discoveries and reflect upon discoveries that remain to be made. Reading nourishes the mind and refreshes it when it is wearied with study. Nevertheless, this refreshment came without study. We ought not to confine ourselves either to writing or to reading. The one, continuous writing, will cast a gloom over our strength and exhaust it. The other will make our strength flabby and watery. It is better to have recourse to them alternately, and to blend one with the other, so that the fruits of one's reading may be reduced to concrete form by the pen.
I guess you could say I'm trying to follow Seneca's advice with this podcast. We can't just hear something or read something and expect it to become part of us. We should take it, work with it, mold it, put it into our own words, and examine it and make it part of ourselves in order for it to really stick and become part of who we are. In the first reading, Marcus Aurelius gave us some insight on Stoic wisdom. He said, stop thinking about what it is to be a good man and just be one. Just go out and do it. Live it. And part of Stoic wisdom is action. The wisdom of action, you could say. Don't just sit around and philosophize. Get out and do it. Be a good man. Do the things you say are important. If you don't do it, it means nothing. And I also enjoy the humorous wisdom of Epictetus saying, hey, just because you sit around and listen to wise people talking, that doesn't mean it rubs off on you. You have to go out and do it yourself. You can't just be around wise people and become wise. You have to internalize what they say. Just being around rich people does not make you rich. We hear the same ideas echoed in the readings of Seneca, where he says to not just read. You can't just read all the time, and you can't just write all the time. Reading helps to inform you about the world. It makes you more wise. It gives you ideas. It allows you to challenge ideas, to think about ideas, to come up with new ideas. But if you combine reading with writing, you can internalize those ideas and make them part of yourself. So don't just memorize the various maxims, sayings that help you to remember certain ideas. Memorizing them is maybe a good step one, but really spending all your time memorizing just gives you the words of others. You need to make it part of yourself, create it, make it part of yourself, and maybe build on it. Take it to the next level. Be a philosopher. Don't just follow philosophy. I myself am not currently a great philosopher. I'm a biologist by training. I feel that I help to teach about and study nature, which I think the Stoics would say is a valuable thing to be doing. And I study this philosophy of Stoicism to try to improve my life, to find a fulfilling life, to control anger. I've had issues with anger, and I'm trying to use some Stoic techniques to help mitigate that and to fully be in the moment and enjoy my young son and my lovely wife and to live in the now. And this is a great philosophy for that. And I really thank you for joining me for episode 2. I want to keep these episodes fairly short, little bite-sized morsels of wisdom. So I will let you go, and I will catch you next time. Carpe diem.